today. So I decided we're going to go live. So we got one person already on here, and I'm sure we'll have a few more pop up. This is unexpected, so I'm not sure how many people we're going to see on here tonight. We might have a few, we might have none. But usually we do the Saturday night thing, and I just wanted to talk a little bit. So who you got on here already? It looks like we probably have somebody that I talked to just tonight. But anyway, this is what's going on. We got the news dump today, just like they did in November. And then everybody goes home from the government after doing the news dump, and there's a lot of questions out there. And a lot of vloggers, as usual, jumped on it and says, there's an opening, everybody's going to be able to come in now. I think that's true, but I think it might be limited. But we haven't had that answered yet. There's a lot of questions on that IATF document there, and they need to be answered by the government next week. There's also a lot of other issues going on with the SRRV. A lot of people are thinking because this is happening, they don't need to get the EED, they don't need to do all that stuff, they're just going to be able to come in. That might not be true, because that might not be transferable to stay a little bit later or something like that, so you can finish SRRV. So be very careful and don't stop the EED. Okay, the EED is very important. That entry document for the 9A, for you guys doing the SRRVs, I want to be very clear about that, because I spoke with Mary Rose about that, so just be careful. How you doing, Chuck? Good to see you on here, man. Who else we got on here? We got 5 people so far. I'm only going to do this short tonight. I'm not sure how long we're going to stay on here. We're going to see how many people we get on here. So I think we'll probably have quite a few people drop by tonight. The numbers are going up and down here already. But anyway, I want to get into this a little bit more. On one of the papers, hey, we've got Manila's Finest on here. Hey, how you doing? On one of the documents that they put out, there was a link on there, and it said 21-day visa. These visas could be 21-day tourist visas for all we know. There's not enough news out there and I went through all the documents and stuff like that. I didn't see anything in there really saying that, you know, this is gonna be back to normal. We're all back to normal. And there's a lot of people out there putting that out there. So we have to really kind of wait to see what else comes out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, or next Friday for that matter. We don't know how long it's going to take to get all this straightened up. But there's a lot of questions now that this leaves, for sure. And I'm not sure if we're going to get those all answered right away. And a lot of people are speculating out there. The other vloggers are speculating already. I've seen a lot of people out there invite these people on, lawyers, attorneys, Bureau of Immigration officials, and stuff like that, having them talking. Some of these people don't even know themselves, because they just started seeing this stuff. They saw all the stuff coming from the news dump, and they've seen the same thing that you've seen. So they really don't know either. So there's still a lot of questions out there. Every vlog I've gone to so far has different approaches on the way they're going through this news and what they're saying about it. And what I say is, let the dust settle. You know what I mean? Who else we got out there? We got 11 people on here tonight. Let's see where we're going to go. Get some more people on here. We have people checking in to see what's going on here tonight. And then they leave for a second because they're waiting for things to really start up here. So if you guys want to shoot any questions here, we can go on this. We're just trying to see where this goes tonight. And if it starts up, it's bouncing up and down here right now. So I'm just waiting to see if we can get some more people on here and get some people starting with some questions here. Sinfuls is on board. That's good. And we got Chuck Newcomb, Manila's Finest, Sinfuls. Waiting for a few more people and get some questions rolling on here. Sinfuls, let me ask you a question. You're on here tonight. What do you think of this thing? You must have read some of these things that are going on, and you've heard from some of these vloggers. What do you think? Do you think this is a full opening? Because I'm not thinking it is. I'm thinking it's 21 days or 30 days. You know? Yes, it says you can enter the Philippines if vaccinated. I get that part. But I don't think it's like before. I don't think you can stay, because it says only for the 9A visas you can re-up your visa, but it doesn't say anything else. How you doing, Darren? We got Darren on board. So there's a lot of speculation here. So I figured I'd come on here maybe for 30 minutes or something like that, you know, just so we can chat and talk about this, because this is kind of interesting. And I put out my views on it today. Let's see, Dane says February 10th open to Americans, question mark. Yes, But the question is whether it's limited to 21 days or 30 days or what have you. And that's what we're talking about, Dane. I don't think it's a thing that you can walk into the BI and re-up that yet. That hasn't been spoken about yet. I haven't seen anything on it. I know with the 9As you can. And they're telling people with I guess they're talking about the EEDs a little bit to keep the EEDs going as of right now. So that hasn't changed. So there's a lot of speculation going on. Sinful says, well, for me, that is great because my wife and I can fly to Thailand and then come back and I can get a 1-year ballot buy-in. Okay. Darren says, same as Australia. I don't know what Australia's is, so I can't go off of that. Says, I would slow down the horses, Sai from Syracuse, New York. Yeah, definitely we need to slow down the horses here for sure. Let's see, Marcus Graham says, is the PI opening up for tourists from Australia? I don't know if they were on that or not. I didn't check for Australia. I saw US on there, so it probably is, I would imagine. But I'm not sure. You can check on the list on the DFA. Okay, there's like 100 and something countries on there or whatever. Brooke Snyder says, I'm going to wait a few days before booking anything. It's the PH. Exactly. I agree with that. For all you guys that are buying tickets, you guys got to slow down. Take a deep breath. You know, Sinfuls, yes, and Australia included. Okay. Let's see. Paul says, thanks, Steve. Solid info as always. Yeah, I didn't want people to think, remember, if you guys remember, and I don't like to blow my own horn here, but I mean, remember back in November, I says any opening is going to be a mess. And all of a sudden they opened for December 1st and it was a big mess. And this is going to be the same thing. There's just too many questions. So everybody needs to take a deep breath because everybody's been waiting for like 2 years. And these guys all want to see their girlfriends and they're desperate. And one guy told me, he said, man, I waited a whole year to see my girlfriend, see if I really need to get there. How can I get there quick? It's like, dude, you need to slow down. I waited 4 years to see my girlfriend. You know, so like people are desperate. And Mary Rose is seeing some of the same things. People are really desperate to get in here. They'll do anything. They'll pay any amount of money to be with some girl. You know, it goes to show you how many members of the Lonely Hearts Club there are out there. You know, Sinful says, I posted that link. I see Darren says, I was going to wait a few months. Paul Osterhout says, I'm thinking for June. I don't know. I'm still saying April. I really believe in April. Maybe they'll have a full opening. I think this might just be a short-term experiment or something like that. I've heard a lot of vloggers and a lot of Facebookers out there. They're all saying, each person's saying something different because they read something different into what they see. Because they're not seeing the whole thing. I've read all those documents. And it's very confusing. It really is. Let's see. Hi, Steve. This is from Ang Hubby. Hi. Bear in mind the upcoming elections might change things. Yes, they could. Yes, they could. Definitely. Sinful says, I want to be with my wife. I am retired on Monday. So I wouldn't buy you a ticket, though, Sinfuls. Not yet, you know. So just wait. If it's just a 21-day or 30-day thing, it's not going to be worth it. You know, so, I mean, that actually, if ballot buying, it'd be a little bit different, I think, if you brought out your papers and stuff like that. If your wife is a Filipina, you know, bring all your marriage certificates and tell them you're coming in on a ballot buy-in or something like that. I don't know how that works, though. I'm not that familiar with that, so don't go by what I say, but look it up and try to find out. I know vlogger Grandpa is pretty good about that stuff, so you might want to check with him a little bit, see if he has anything on there. It says, Sinful says, I have a Philippine Air website open now. Be careful, you know, be careful. Let's see. Darren says, Steve, do you know the date of the election in the Philippines? I do not. No, I don't follow the elections over here at all. I just don't follow it. I just don't get into the elections. I hear different rumors of each person that's running and stuff like that, and I know some of it's true and some of it's not true, but I'm not sure who's going to get elected. I don't know. Let's see. Paul Osterhout says, and would this include the USA? Yes, it would. It's on the list. Okay. Sinful says, ballot buying, you have to have your spouse with you upon entry. I'm not so sure of that because I read that changed during this mess because of everything that's going on. So Sinfuls, you may want to double check on that. Please double check on that because I think you're wrong on that, okay? There was a change in that just recently. I don't know if it changed back with this here though, okay? So if you had your marriage certificate, I believe you could come in on the ballot buy-in. That had changed a little bit. So look that up. or you may want to contact the Philippine embassy and double check on that, okay? I know that's the way it was for a long time, but that did change temporarily. I'm not sure if it changes back now. Okay, Marcus Graham, do you think the election could seriously have an effect on this? I don't think it'll have much effect on it. No. Some people think that the election's, that I've heard rumors about different officials, and they're saying they're going to kick the U.S. out of here again like before, and they're going to empty off those 5 bases and all this stuff. And it's just, I think it's just all a bunch of hearsay. I hate when people talk politics over here because it just, there's a lot of exaggeration because they want their person to get elected and stuff like that. So you have to kind of see what's true and what's not true. Darren says, I thought you guys were in level 3. Well, we are in level 3. That's the funny part about this. That's why I think that there could be something funky going on here, because here we are, we're sitting at 30% capacity in the restaurants, but yet we're going to open up. That's crazy. See, Sinful says election is in May. Marco here says, Friday, good morning, Steve. How you doing, Mark? Good to see you on here. We're up to about 31 people, 8 thumbs up. So we're not doing too bad. We'll keep this open for a little while. I just want to open it up a little bit. We're going to also be on here tomorrow night, guys, at the regular time. I'm going to probably go on a little bit early tomorrow so we can kind of boost the amount of people that we have in here. I'll be on there about 9:30, but the show really starts rolling about 10. So if you guys want to check in even at 9:30, that's great, because we can still start talking. Then actually you get more questions answered if you guys want, questions answered or whatever. See, Mark says, Friday, good morning, Steve. Paul Osterhout says, or do I still mail FedEx my passport off to Florida for my visa? Expat and as you're working. I'm not sure, Paul. I'm not sure about your specifics here, because I'm not sure what you're talking about. Because over here it's visa on arrival, okay? So if you're working in another country and you're from the U.S., you should be all set when you come here, as long as you have if you follow all the protocols that they say. You need your PCR test and all that stuff, like within a certain amount of hours. So read everything it says. Go on the IATF and check all the government websites. And they do change daily, by the way, so be careful. Let's see. Sinful says, yes, I have red ribbon marriage certificate in my possession. There you go. Okay, Sinfuls, check on that. Okay, check on that, because I think you can come in here and then they'll stamp you as a Balik Bayan. But I'm not up on those visas, and I'm going to say that again. I'm not up on those visas, but I have been watching some of the stuff that they say, but I don't really go into the website and check up on that stuff often enough to really give you the good dope on that. You know what I'm saying? So just double check on that. Cindy G says 9:30 to 10:30. Okay. No, Cindy, actually, we are on here tonight, Friday, just for us, like tonight. But tomorrow night we're still on here at regular time, 10 o'clock. But we'll probably be on at 9:30 tomorrow, just to see if we can get a couple more viewers. Tomorrow night's actually the regular night. We're just going to do a short thing tonight and see how this goes tonight, because we wanted to come on here just to talk to people, answer some questions or whatever, and see what's going on out there, what you guys are thinking too. Let's see, Sinful says 8 hours prior to flight for PCR. Okay. Marcus Graham, I had an email from travel agent here saying February 1 Aussies can enter subject to. There you go. They said there's going to be certain things that you have to follow. There's going to be certain things that are going to change. So we haven't seen those yet. They haven't written about those yet. So all that's going to be coming probably out next week, and we're probably going to see a lot more things. I think it's going to be a 21-day visa. I think it's going to be a 21-day visa or 30-day visa. But I did see on the IATF document, it did say 21-day visa for the link that goes over to the DFA. When it goes over to the DFA, then it starts talking about 30 days over there. And I think it even talks about like 9A, on one of the documents it talks about 9A can get an extension, but it doesn't talk about the visas on arrival. So we have to be kind of careful, because a lot of people are getting mixed up saying, well, it says in the IATF this here. Well, some of that stuff is 9A, which is different than the visa on arrival. Don't confuse a tourist, 9A tourist visa with a regular visa on arrival tourist type thing. It's totally two different birds. Okay, and a lot of people are getting that mixed up, and I think that's where the confusion is. Okay, let's see. RLV says, our elections come on the second Monday of May this year. It's May 9th. Okay. Jim Brewer says, you have to be with your spouse to be Balik Bayan. That might be true now, but there was a time when they were allowing people in here temporarily, and I'm not sure if that's extended now or not. But you had to just bring in your marriage certificate. They had a special thing come out, and I read that. I read that for sure, Jim. I'm not sure if it changed back though with all the current rule changes and everything. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to be answered over the next coming weeks. And I hope that the government catches up with all that stuff, because we've had so many changes, and every day the Philippine changes all that, and the next day it's a different thing. So that's the problem here. They're not consistent ever. Sinful says 30-day. They're consistent about being inconsistent. That's what they're consistent about. Sinful says 30-day, but need to have a ticket to leave upon entering. Yes, that's one of the things too. You still have to have that they call that a throwaway ticket, Sinfuls. Okay? Because when you used to come in the old days before all the COVID stuff, you'd have to either leave or you'd have to go to the BI to get the extension. And then you just throw away that ticket. It would just be kind of a throwaway ticket. You just let it go, let it lapse. You'd lose the money on that ticket unless you had a refundable ticket or what have you. But you are correct on that. The question is, they're not answering the BI thing, whether we can go to the BI and we can stay here for another 36 months. I don't think that that's happening. So we'll see, though. We just need to let the dust settle here a little bit. And that's why I wanted to do this talk tonight, because there's a lot of people out there and they're jumping on buying their tickets, and they don't realize that they might only be able to come here for 21 to 30 days because we don't know yet. And don't go off these vloggers. Go off the government papers and documents and stuff that are going to be coming out in the coming days. We need to wait and see. And it might be worth letting the first couple people come over here and see if they can extend with the BI. Okay? Because they might come over here and then find out that they can't extend with the BI, and that would be terrible. So I just want to make sure that unless you see that in writing, don't come if you're planning on staying long term. If you're coming here for 21 or 30 days, I think you'll be okay. Brooks Knight says, so the government info dump occurs Friday afternoon and no one can clearly clarify anything until Monday. That's what I'm saying. Me and Brooke were talking on the phone earlier, and I told him, I says, they do a news dump on Friday afternoon, just like they did in November, and then they all go home for the weekend, and they leave a huge mess to clean up. And everybody's talking about it all weekend long, trying to figure all this stuff out, reading all the things, and trying to get reading every little thing inside all this stuff. But it's not enough to really give us this good, solid information. That's the sad part. Darren says 21 days will defer some people. Yes, it will. And also you have to do like kind of a 7-day self-watch on yourself. It's not a quarantine according to what I read, but it's a 7-day self-watch. So you have to kind of watch yourself for COVID still. If you see any symptoms, you're supposed to self-quarantine yourself. Just FYI on that, guys, okay? Smoky Mountain Model says, good evening, Steve. Just got a notice. Okay, Smoky, we're still doing tomorrow night, okay? We're still on here tomorrow night. Just want to let you guys know. All of yous will be on here tomorrow night. Same bat time and same bat channel, So we will be on here tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. But we'll start around 9:30 to 9:45 probably, just to get the show started and get ramped up with enough people. And most people come on about 10 o'clock or whatever. But if you really want to ask questions, the best time to get me is when I first come on here. So if you got any big questions or anything, or you can call me. So you guys know, if you send me an email at steven5975@yahoo.com, just ask me for my number. You can call me. Okay. Marcus says everyone just check their relevant country embassies for entry regulations. Australia has them all listed, but changes daily. Also, if you call these embassies, they're not answering the phones in the U.S. for the most part. I'm getting phone calls from people that are telling me, and they're trying to get me to answer the questions that they want the embassy to answer. And it's like, dude, I can't answer that. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I don't know what's going on with those embassies. So I guess they're overwhelmed right now with what's going on. Vince, I'm sure they're going to be even more overwhelmed now. Vince Petrie says, hi, Steve. Great news. What about quarantine? Quarantine's gone. Passé. It's gone. They have a 7-day self-check. Okay? From what I'm hearing, that doesn't mean you have to be in your house. It means you have to watch out for any symptoms. If you see any symptoms, then just self-quarantine. Okay? So that's what I'm seeing so far. Like I said, don't go off of me because it could change tomorrow. So just FYI, or That could change too. There's not much written on that, but there's no quarantine if fully vaccinated, okay? It's just like a 7-day keep an eye on yourself, self-check type of thing. Alma B. Lee says, greetings, Steve. Happy weekend to you. How you doing, Alma? Alma, we're still going to be on tomorrow night, just to get FYI, if you want to be on tomorrow night. Paul Osterhout says, excellent news for entry. I can get my PCR with 12-hour turnaround. Got silver patron, need a snort. There we go. Sinful says, the embassy is not responding at all. No, they're not. And that's the sad part. You know, when I called the embassy 4 years ago, before coming here, it was like about 4.5 years ago, I called them to get some information off them. I left a message. They emailed me back and told me, we will call you in 2 weeks during this period here. And we'll, you know, so I had to wait during that period. And they called me during that period. And it was funny because I was working in a school at the time, and the principal was breathing down my neck, telling me I wasn't supposed to be on the phone at work when I had told her earlier I was expecting a phone call. And it was just a big, she's yelling at me while I'm talking to the embassy lady trying to get all the questions answered. And I kind of had to, you know, let her know, hey, I have to take this phone call. It's important. So it's kind of funny. But, you know, when you get that phone call like that and it's that important, there's nothing you can do. You know, and they are hard to get in touch with. Sinful says, a foreign national spouse and or child of ballot buying may be given the said privilege if he or she is traveling with his or her ballot buying spouse or parent. Okay, Smoky Mountain Mauler will be there, Steve. This opening info is starting to sound like Groundhog Day. Yes, it is. Doesn't it sound familiar, Smoky? Remember back in November? You know? Remember that video I did? You know, any opening will be a mess. And sure enough, it was last time. And it's the same thing this time. It's just like wash, rinse, repeat. You know, that's what it is. Wash, rinse, repeat. Sinful says, from the BI website. Okay, the BI website could be behind right now because everybody's went home. And I'm sure they're going to be catching that up on Monday and Tuesday. So I would say like after Tuesday, I would say that, you know, that'll pretty much be up to date. I don't think everything is up to date right now because this was such a big news dump. I don't think everybody's caught up yet. And we'll find out more then about what's going on. Joe Porter says, I think we learn more about the virus rules will change. At this rate, they may as well let the unvaccinated in. I kind of agree with that, you know. The unvaccinated here are not allowed to go in the malls. Why would you want to come here? If you're unvaccinated, don't come to the Philippines. You're not going to be happy here. You can't go shopping, you can't go to the mall, and you can't go to a restaurant. Until that stops, I wouldn't come. That's my thoughts on that, you know. Yeah, if you're unvaccinated here, you get treated like crap because we have a guy in town here. He has to stay home. Can't leave, can't travel, can't go anywhere. They're telling him to stay in his house. That's what he was told. Okay, so that's, you know, if you're unvaccinated and you're planning on coming over here, don't even bother. You're better off at home than you are over here. You know, as far as the Philippines, I love the Philippines. You know, I'm actually glad that I got vaccinated because of this, you know, because I have those freedoms back again. But if you're unvaccinated, man, it's a mess. Let's see, RLV says you can include the PH as your SE Asia, Southeast Asia destination after SG, HK, Thailand, MY, VN, and IN. Okay, Paul Osterhout says 21 days would work for me. Do the civil marriage in the morning and the church in the afternoon. Okay. It's a possibility. Actually, you could probably pull that off. I think some people might be able to pull that off in that 21 days. Yes, could happen. You still have to go to the BI after, though. Don't forget. Brooke Snyder, and you have to have all your documents ready. And you have to get ready to get married. You have to go to the embassy, I think, to get some documents too. So, but you might have time to do that, but I don't think you will unless you set up an appointment to go. Make sure you check into all the things you have to do. It's not simple. It's not simple. I think you have to go get some documents at the embassy first, at least the way it is. But they change all that stuff. That's why I don't stay on top of that marriage stuff. It changes all the time. But check into that, Paul. Brooke Snyder says, can you buy N95 masks there, or should I bring them? Brooke, I'd tell you to bring your own because you know what? Most of the ones over here are fake. Okay? And that's a fact. If you really want to have an N95 mask, get the real ones back there because if you buy them here, you're probably buying fake ones. If you buy them online from Lazada, you're probably getting fake ones too. But you don't have to wear those masks. You can just wear a cloth one too, and just the washable ones. Marcus Graham says the Philippine embassy here in Sydney, Australia say email us and we will reply, but they never do, and phone number is provided. Yeah, it's the same in the U.S. It's terrible. Sinful says, yes, I agree. The BI site could be. Elma Lee says, hope everything has gone okay back home. Years didn't come home. Hoping this year coming home. Baylor, Aurora soon. Miss my hometown. I hope you can too, Elma. I think you'll be able to. I really do. Maria Tolanito says, sorry I haven't been able to watch your vid, Steve. I have been concentrating on New York City more these days because my son lives there. That sounds good. Sometimes I wish I was back there right now, but with that big snowstorm that they got going on back there, they're not talking about inches, they're talking about feet of snow for a big thing up. I think it's in New York too, but I know up in New England for sure. Maria Tonito says, hope everything is going well with you and your loved ones. Yes. Let's see. Daryl Bailey says, if you're tested in negative COVID, how could you spread COVID 21 days later? Who knows, unless it's on your person or something like that, Let's see. Maria says, I am vaccinated, but I will not verify it because I don't want to set myself apart from the unvaccinated. I refuse to look down or antagonize them. They're just as human as I am. You know something, Maria? I agree with you 100% on that. I don't like the way that people are getting treated as far as that over here. I will say that, and it's the stores and stuff like that that are treating these people like they're pariahs or something like that. I mean, that's their choice. You can still spread it if you're vaccinated. It can still be on your person. If you touch somebody that was vaccinated, it doesn't really matter. So I don't know what the problem is. If you think about it logically, it doesn't really matter if you can still get sick if you're vaccinated. It just means that you'll get a lesser COVID. You'll get lesser symptoms and stuff like that, so, from what they say. So I don't know why it makes any difference whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, because either way you can get it. Joe Porter, what I mean is we figured out if you're vaccinated, you can still get and pass COVID on to others. So what's the difference between vaccinated and unvaccinated? There really isn't a difference, to be honest with you, except that you're going to get sicker if you're unvaccinated. So Gizmo in Asia, visa-free entry. I'm from UK. Can I extend it? Easy to coming over in March. We don't know if we can extend it. That's what we're talking about, Gizmo, okay? I don't think that extension is for visa on arrival people. I think you can still, as a 9A, you can still get the extension. The 9A tourist visa is different than the visa on arrival, and people are getting that confused. I was watching that on some of the videos today. The people are getting it confused. And it's kind of scary because they're thinking that that's what you get when you get visa on arrival. You get a 9A. No, it's not the same. It's different. Darrow Bailey, I think their logic is, for example, is flying in on a plane in confined space for extended period of time. Let's see. I think you're talking about getting COVID on a plane or whatever. I don't know. I know this COVID thing's like way over the top these days. It's just kind of crazy what's going on. But let's see, we got 64 people, 19 thumbs up. Let's see. Chuckles Monkey says, I was vaccinated and got Lambda, Delta, and Omicron variants. Vaccine does not mean squat. I had the same thing. I caught one of them before I got vaccinated, and I caught one after I got vaccinated. So it really doesn't make a difference. Hoops to jump. Yeah, definitely, Tom. Tom, we're still on tomorrow night. So, if you want to be on tomorrow night, we'll still be here. I'm just coming on for a little while tonight. This is going to be a short one probably. I'm probably going to end here in a few minutes, but I just wanted to put this out in case people had some questions, because we dumped those 3 videos out today because I want people to kind of let the dust settle a little bit, and I want to talk tonight a little bit about that. But yeah, hoops to jump through. No fun in all that stress. I think I will get me a rent-a-Filipino wife for a while until it is semi-normal. Let their economy crash a little bit more first. I think this will probably help their economy because I think people are going to come over here. But there's already people that have gone on and bought tickets. They've already told me they're buying their tickets no matter what. Some of them just want to come over, even if it's going to be a 21-day or 30-day thing. And that dust hasn't settled yet. I know people out there saying different things. Let's wait till next week or whatever, or whenever we can find out. I don't, who knows? With the government, the way it's running here, it's hard to tell what's going on these days with people and hard to get questions answered, solid questions. RLV, if you plan to come over here in the PHS monitor plane fare prices. That's a good idea. Good idea. Just monitor them. Don't buy them until we have this out there and we know for sure that the BI is gonna let you extend your visa on arrival stamp. Then don't come unless you know. Vince says, did you see Vlogger Grandpa video about Mayor Gwynn and Cebu put out on restrictions using vaccine card? I did not see that. I do like, something. I do like Vlogger Grandpa. He's an exceptionally good vlogger. Jennifer Terry is an exceptionally good vlogger, but she has made mistakes. Okay, but I do like her show. She does put it out. But the one thing I have that I don't like about her is the fact that she goes back and forth between Tagalog, and she's more for OFWs. She's not really an expat type person out there. Okay, Darren says, thanks, Steve. Greatly appreciated your videos. Thanks, Darren. That, by the way, guys, I think that's Darren. That was on the videos the other day. We posted his video tonight. He got 5,000 views, by the way, on his video, and that's exceptionally good for the video that we did the other night where he was talking about his house. I posted a video today where he talks about his SRRV experience. I don't think it did that well because of the fact that it got slammed by all the news going out today. And it is a good video because he talks a lot about Mary Rose and how much he appreciates Mary Rose. So if you guys get a chance, watch today's video about the SRRV, and it's got Darren. It shows Darren in there, and he talks a little bit about the SRRV. So if you guys get a chance, please watch that. Mark Seelan says, Magandang umaga, Steve, from the Redneck Rivera in Florida Panhandle. I'm originally from your old stomping grounds in northeastern Mass. There we go. Keep up the great work and go Bruins. There we go. Actually, when I came here back in the 80s, because of the fact that there was problems, they had problems with Americans and stuff getting kidnapped and hurt and stuff like that. There was a lot of things going on back in the 80s. So and what happened was that I used to wear a Bruins shirt, and then I used to wear a Toronto Maple Leafs shirt, only because mostly the Toronto Maple Leafs shirt, so people that would think that I was from Canada or something instead of the United States, because they were going after Americans. They were targeting Americans. But when I was in the house, sometimes I'd turn it back and put a Bruins shirt on. Just kind of a funny. It's a true story. Alma B. Lee says, thumbs up. Take care of all and stay. I'm going to be ending this probably in about 2 or 3 minutes. We'll try to finish this up real quick. Vaccinated means more than squat. The UK Health Service states that 90% of people in the intensive care units are unvaccinated. I prefer not to be in the 90%. Yeah, I'm not pro-vax, but I decided not to be one of those guys that's sitting outside the restaurant or has to eat outside with, the flies or the dog outside. I'm not a dog. I want to sit in the restaurant in the AC, and that's the way I feel about it. I agree with the people that are unvaccinated about the vaccine. I really do. I don't believe that I didn't want to get vaccinated either. So I hear what people are saying. Trust me, but I didn't want to be that guy. So, and a lot of other people didn't either. And a lot of people, when they live out in, way out in the provinces or something like that, they probably don't care because it doesn't affect them that much. Because they're not eating in a restaurant. They don't go in the stores that much. They just send somebody else to go, and that's it. See, Tombo Throttlefish. Hey, Steve. Another thing to watch is how the government departments aren't all on the same page. No, they're not. I don't mean to put down the Philippine government, but if there's one thing they could do is just try to pull together and have intercommunications between each other. And see, he says, they say you can go, but then they only allow so many people in the airport. That's another thing, too, that they didn't address, by the way, Tombo. How many people they're going to allow in? Is it a full opening? Are they only going to allow 20,000 people? Did they retract that? These are questions that are still kind of humming around right now, and they didn't address all those things. So that's some things that we have to be careful of. And Gleason Baker's on here. How you doing, Gleason? We're just on here for a short thing tonight, Gleason. We are, guys, I'm going to repeat this again because we have new people going in and out every couple minutes here. We are going to be on tomorrow night at the regular time. And tomorrow night we will probably be on at least till 11:30 for sure. We'll probably do 9:30 to 11:30. But the show really begins at 10 because we just wait till we get some people on there and it really starts at 10. But if you guys have questions before 10, I still answer them and everything. And we talk and chat during those times. But it's usually kind of awkward during the first 10, 15 minutes waiting for people to come on or whatever until you get up to a good solid number, as you guys know. So we will be on tomorrow night. If it's a really, really good show, you know, and I think tomorrow is probably going to be a rip-roaring show because I think we'll have a lot of people on there, probably over 100 people. Usually we do pretty good on Saturday nights. Tonight we got about 70 people on here, about 30 thumbs up. That's pretty good. But usually on Saturdays we do better. I just thought we'd come on here tonight, just do a quick chat real quick. I'm going to go back and watch a movie in a couple minutes here because I haven't been able to do anything today at all. Uncle James says, thanks for all the updates. It's funny how all these people talking about coming and getting married in one day don't know how slow things are. Exactly. You know, even 21 days is really pushing it. It's hard to get married in the Philippines because there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through and you have to make appointments at the embassy and stuff like that to get certain documents or whatever. And you might want to check what you have to do because that's changed between now and last year or whatever. And I'm not up on that stuff. So make sure you check into that stuff because you might need documents from the embassy. And if you do need those documents, make sure you get an embassy appointment before you even come over here. And with the COVID going on, guess what? Some things are hard. It's hard to get in there. But with this opening up, I think the embassy is going to open up totally, probably sometime in February. Totally open up. All the windows, everything. Okay? RLV, to be safe, to go to Thailand, MY or Vietnam first before going to PH. Let's see. Vince Petri says, it's wrote into Philippine law signed by the President and Congress that they cannot discriminate and not allowed to enforce vaccine cards for travel and going into stores, government buildings. It might say that, but they're doing it. You know, the stores can do whatever they want. Just like in the U.S., if they don't want to allow people in, unfortunately, that's the way it is. They can do that. But it is unfortunate because it seems like they're kind of enforcing the laws now. It's not the government anymore. They got these people that believe in all this stuff enforcing the laws, the malls, all these people. So it's just kind of strange. But I don't really want to get into it because that's also in the United States and other countries too. It's all over the world. It's not just the Philippines. A lot of people say, hey, Steve, you know, be truthful about your freedoms over there because you talk about like it's just as free as the U.S. We have our issues over here, but I feel more freedom over here than in the U.S. because I can't stand people talking to me and putting you down because of your politics. I don't have that over here. So that gives me my freedom. And my happiness is being around people that don't talk about all that crap, all that stuff that's going on back in the United States. That's where I get my freedom. Okay, yes, things are different here. And, you know, they call it a police state over here. No, it's not a police state. Yeah, we have checkpoints and stuff like that. Okay, all that stuff's going away now. So, I mean, it's not what people think it is. You know, and there's a very intense feeling of freedom over here when you're over here. At least there is for me. So, I mean, maybe I found my common ground, my happy place. I don't know. So, let's see. Paul Osterhout says, I guess it is always FUBAR of biblical proportions, but I will stay the course. Vince Petri says, you should really check it out. Important information. Let's see. I don't know who this is, but they say, why expats no interest here Korea to retire? I'm not sure, man. I really don't know. You know, Korea is a great place to retire, probably, with the exception of North Korea, but yes. But it does get a little chilly there, too, so I think that might be why, because it's warm here and you guys have that cold weather there. I know up in the Chosin Reservoir, my uncle was there in North Korea, but I don't know how South Korea is as far as winters and stuff like that. But yeah, Korea's a beautiful place. I wouldn't mind winters and stuff like that. But I mean, the funny thing is Asian countries all have their issues. China, Japan, Korea, North Korea, because you have North Korea sitting above you and you always have that danger. And the Philippines now with China, it's almost all countries have like a big issue nowadays. If you notice, it's kind of strange. Anyway, Smoky Mountain Model says, I wish I had $5 for every opening video on YouTube today. Yeah, yeah, me too. And they might be wrong. That's the scary part. But we'll see. We will see. I rather just not put out any information at all on it, which is what I did. I just kind of explained what's going on and my thoughts on it, rather than say, yeah, we're having a grand opening on such and such a date, because I'm not sure that that's what's going to happen. Yeah, we are having some sort of opening for some people to come in here, but I'm not sure if it's going to be that same old thing that we had before and we're going back to the norm. And I'm afraid that some of these people might, later on have a lot of egg on their face by saying, yeah, we're going back to the way it was before. That's not what it's saying so far. That's not what I'm reading. And Mary Rose said the same. A lot of other people said the same thing too. Let's see. Paul Osterhout says, already have the docs from the embassy and they're apostilled as well. That's good, man. For you guys that are doing the SRRVs, continue doing everything that you're doing. Do not change because of this. Mary Rose told me, keep on going with all the stuff that you need for the EEDs and stuff. Continue doing that until you hear otherwise, okay? There's been nothing from the PRA to change anything yet. So wait till you hear something from them. Until then, continue doing as you've been doing. There's no changes. That's from Mary Rose, okay? So Tom Pierce says, so today is not Saturday. Dang, I have been retired too long. Cannot remember what day it is anymore. See you tomorrow. All right, Tom, I'm going to be ending this right now, guys. I know we're only at 41 minutes. I really want to go sit down and watch a movie tonight. It's been a busy week. I put out let's see, I did three videos that I posted today for just quick ones to put out because of everything that was going on. I wanted to, every time the news come out, I would put something else out. So I did those 3 videos today. I just want to put this out really quick. And then I did because I'm getting ready to probably go away, but I'm not even sure I can go away with everything going on right now. But I was thinking about going away for at least a few days, possibly as long as 6 days, maybe just 2 or 3 days. But I'll still be vlogging and stuff like that. And I wanted to get a couple vlogs ahead in case I don't have time to vlog while I'm on vacation. So I did a whole bunch of research this weekend. So I'm really kind of tired and burned out tonight. And then this happened and it just really slowed me down a lot. But anyway, guys, I just want to say good night. I'm actually getting a phone call here, and I want to thank you guys, and God bless. And we're on here tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Okay, guys? God bless. Take care. Hello? Hello? Yes. How you doing? I was just in the middle of a live stream. I just had to end it because I saw your phone call on here. Go ahead. No, that's okay.